Fiancé caught xting wedding in 5 months' time. I don't really know why I'm posting this, but here goes. I am 30, have been with my fiancé F32 for close to 11 years. We have been engaged for 1.5 years. The other day I found that she had been exchanging pictures with her personal trainer. This has taken place over a period of between 6-10 months as far as I can tell, and from what she has confessed to me. I have suspected throughout that time that something had been up, but had never been able to prove it. During that time she would convince me that I was imagining things and, during a particularly nasty argument, suggested that I should see a doctor about my mindset. I have since realized that I had been gaslit by her that entire time. When confronted, she has shown what seems to be very genuine remorse, especially for the gaslighting. We have had several talks during that time. She has placed the majority of the blame on herself and states that she was always flattered by the messages she received from him, and received such a thrill that she kept wanting to go back for more. Not that it really matters, but she says the only pictures she sent him were always above her underwear clothing. The messages have been intermittent over the period and not constant. She has said that the relationship with him has always been purely messages and a fantasy. She has had in-person training sessions with him, but decided that due to the awkwardness created between them, that they had to stop. She also stated that she felt she had crossed a line by meeting him, but continued to pursue the online relationship. She states that there has been absolutely zero physical contact between them, not so much as a high five, she said. In relation to her lying to me for so long and for gaslighting me, she has openly admitted that it was for self-preservation, as she did not want me to find out, as she had realized how what she'd done would hurt me. She has also said that she planned on stopping the inappropriate messages with him, but she would occasionally have the urge to instigate the conversation with him again. She is traumatized by the idea that I would leave her and has had a couple of meltdowns when I've suggested that we separate to get some space. There was a similar reaction when I suggested delaying our wedding. She wants to grow old with me and wants us to be married and have a family. I also want this. So, yeah, there have been a lot of tears between us. I deeply love my fiancé. We have had our ups and downs over the years, as any couple of 10 years would. But this is the lowest that she and I have ever been. I have never once suspected that she would cheat. I am tormenting myself thinking if anything I did in the past year had caused this shift in her behavior. She would be the last person ever in the world that I'd have considered capable of doing this, and now I feel like there was a side to her that I didn't know. We are still living under one roof and, strangely, I feel closer to her than I have in a long time. I have reached out to a couple of friends, as has she. This has been a big help for us. I am currently in the process of seeking couples therapy for the two of us. Redditor's reactions, story 2 after. Redditor 1, don't get married anytime soon until she seeks help for her need to like been flattered and complimented. What's to stop this after you get married and you can lose 50% of your stuff? I would get a prenup too. Redditor 2, I ignored the signs and my gut feeling and am now married with a child, and she started to now get honest. Do not settle for her lies that you want to believe, it will only break your heart. The tears and words she spoke to me for 6 years were all lies she said to protect me. How about if you cared about protecting your partner, you don't cheat in the first place? Go with your gut. Redditor 3, you're posting because you need support. Have you shared the truth with your family friends? I know you may be inclined to hide the cheating, but living in a lie is not healthy for you. I'm sorry you're in this position. I 30F faced similar earlier this year. Our wedding was planned for this September. We were together for 7 years. Had the shared life, the house, the dogs, etc., I would have never jeopardized what we had. He did for a co-worker he knew for 3 months. Unfortunately, your fiancé did too. Of course, she doesn't want you to postpone the wedding. She was caught cheating. This is image control. She does not want to look like the bad guy. So let's say you get married. Can you risk another D-Day in 3 years? In 5? I couldn't. How long will it take her to spin the narrative that you were a bad husband so she can leave the marriage as the good guy with her image maintained? Why are you scheduling couples counseling? You did not threaten the relationship. She did. She should be scheduling it. Don't give her excuses. This is not a hard ask. I think you need some space apart to clear your head. I know I did. I couldn't think clearly with my ex in the house. Tell her to go to a friend's house for a week or get an Airbnb. You may be surprised by how you feel after some time apart. Good luck. Answer: how did your situation end up? As I've said, I love this woman very much. I believe her remorse, and I do believe that she loves me too. As much as I feel betrayed, if it was only xting, then it's just pictures and words. And I think I can forgive pictures and words, especially if it was all a fantasy. She is constantly telling me that she wants to put me and us first, and is going to try harder than she has at anything in her life to win back my trust. Redditor 4, she has said that relationship with him has always been purely messages and a fantasy. She has had in-person training sessions with him, but decided that due to the awkwardness created between them that they had to stop. She also stated that she felt she had crossed a line by meeting him, but continued to pursue the online relationship. She states that has been absolutely zero physical contact between them, not so much as a high five. She said, "You are still not likely getting the truth. I've had personal training sessions where there has been contact. Because it has been needed. Always with consent and always to correct form. But there has been physical contact. For her to deny any physical contact is just very odd. Especially in light of the length of their affair and the fact they've met in person for sessions. Not even platonic contact. Not impossible but very unlikely. My advice would be to postpone the wedding until you're in a better place. It's unlikely you have full disclosure and you'll need time to process and work on your relationship even if you have. She'll also need to attend IC to figure out why she went outside the relationship for validation, how she could ignore your pain and gaslight you for so long, and what she will do to work on herself. Story 2. Another chump joins the club. Been reading for months, and when I started, I truly thought we'd reconcile. Of course, I 39M never saw it coming and truly thought we'd be that old couple that makes it. Married almost 12 years, together for 14, known her for 20 plus. D-Day was 10:30. No smoking gun, just a gut feeling that made me look at her 39F phone one night. I've never looked through her phone before that night. Like so many others, I wasn't wrong. That gut feeling rarely is. She'd gone to a HS reunion in August. I didn't go with as it involved flights and we have 2 kids and no local family to watch them. Ends up being a lot of money to see people I barely know and don't care about. I'm the breadwinner, she's been a ZAM for 10.5 years since our daughter was born. Looking back, there were plenty of red flags of terrible, abusive behavior. Not as bad as some I've read, but enough that I should have set hard boundaries and walked years ago. Anyway, it seems the relationship kicked off there. She swears nothing happened there and he's not a BF from her past, but I don't believe a word she says anymore. She had a family member go into hospice in September, so I rearranged my work schedule to watch the kids so she could see them one more time. The family member ends up passing, so she extends her stay for a week to attend the funeral and mess around with her new boyfriend, apparently. Lots of texting via FB Messenger after that, including how they're meant to be together and are so in love. Puke. Even attempts to meet up with him in Nashville to attend a game, which she actually asked me to go to, and I agreed. It's a high school friend, I trusted her then, didn't think anything of it. At the time I was traveling every other week for work, and there were attempts to have him come visit. We live on the East Coast, he's in North Dakota, and she invited him to stay at our house with our kids. He didn't seem comfortable with that, and they seem to have had a falling out shortly before D-Day. She went kind of crazy pursuing him, and even after the falling out it was clear she was still strongly in limerence with him. Anyway, my world was devastated. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't work. Desperately did the pick-me dance for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Got some support from family, friends, and a co-worker who's been through it too and is 2 years into the curve. Learned to focus on me, something I never did in our relationship, exercise, and read. Still desperately wanted her. Or maybe just my comfortable life back where I wasn't so hurt and betrayed. She didn't know what she wants, is lost, it's not about him, loves me but isn't in love with me. And all the other BS lines that we all hear. Somewhere around the beginning of December, I was reading No More Mr. Nice Guy and committed to a firm boundary. AP had to be North Carolina, and out of our lives, or I would end us. I'd told her in the beginning during the pick-me dance that I was terrified of losing her. Told her that day I wasn't scared to lose her, but just didn't want to. And that I wouldn't hesitate to end us if she didn't respect me. I still don't know if she didn't think I would follow through or truly wants to separate and is just too weak to pull the trigger herself. Ultimately, I suppose she wants her cake. The nice lifestyle I provide, but the fun of doing whatever she wants. Like so many others I've read about on here that have helped me learn how to handle this situation. She's selfish and feels entitled. Told her on 1/6 myself on the advice of my attorney your state may be different, follow their advice, and told her they would contact her to arrange to have her served. They've tried to contact, and she's avoided it since. She's always run from her problems and avoided them, hoping they'd just go away. To be fair, I've always accommodated that behavior. Sorry sweetheart, you can't run from this one. I'll take a financial hit. That part sucks, and I'm very soured on marriage as a result. I've always viewed what I make as ours, and it was supposed to be. It's BS that she chose this path, and is somehow still entitled to my retirement and home equity. But that is what it is. I try not to be too bitter and get hung up on that. I've been focused on skiing with my daughter 10 and playing Nerf guns and plastic army men with my son 5. I continue to exercise. I know there'll be a battle coming up because I don't think she's accepted the reality of the situation. She can't fight me for the house and I can buy her out, so she'll have to leave. We're still cohabitating. The state will require her to find full-time employment. She has a 4-year degree, held teaching certificates in 3 states prior, and had a few years of teaching experience before she got pregnant with our daughter. She doesn't want to teach anymore, and told me not too long before D-Day. I can't imagine having to work at a regular job. IRL. Sorry sweetheart, you made the wrong choices if that was the case. I handle almost everything that you would consider adult real life for us. She's effectively a 12-year trapped in a 39-year body. Real life is coming at her like a freight train, and when it hits it won't be pretty. I get sad thinking about it, because I do still love her. You can't flip a switch and shut that off, though the feeling is ever so slowly starting to die. Indifference is the goal, and I can almost see it way out there in the future somewhere. I just have to continue to do the work to get there. Anyway, I know this has gotten long, but figured it was time to tell my story. It always helps to get it out, and each time I do a small piece of the weight lifts. I'm lucky to have a strong family, friend, and co-worker support structure around me, even though much of it is via phone spread around the country. In addition to just wanting to post this for myself, I hope it can inspire someone whose D-Day was yesterday. Or maybe the same as mine but struggling. Or maybe 2 years ago, tried to and is having questions. I'm not saying isn't possible, or the right path. The other partner needs to be invested in it. And thinking of you, the BS. Not themselves? My STBXW is only focused on one thing. Herself? In the clarity of the moment, looking at our lives, she always has been. Time for me to do better. For anyone still reading and dealing and hoping to find a path forward, here's what worked for me. This sub. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent reading stories and comments. While the comments guide you mostly to leave your cheater, they're not wrong. They're hard truth that takes some time to accept. You can't control another's behavior, and this happens to good people all the time. Thanks to all who post in here, the support is amazing even if you never post a word yourself. Our divorce men is also a good one if you're male, in my situation and not looking to and have questions. Lots of support there too. 3 books, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Leave a Cheater, Gain a Life, and The Storms Can't Hurt the Sky. Exercise. I'm not obese, but wasn't in my best shape going into D-Day. I'm down about 15 pounds and after about 2-3 weeks I was able to eat again, so it's not just from starvation. Once you feel better about your body, you'll feel better about dressing well too. Look good, feel good has been my line to myself. Do things for you, no matter how small. Eventually you'll work your way up to big ones. My STBXW invited me to go with her and the kids to something the other day. She continues to keep her head in the sand and act like all is normal, and if she ignores it, it'll all go away. Additionally, I think she just wanted help with the kids so it wasn't so hard on her. I declined. In the past, I'd have felt I had to go, even if I didn't want to. Sat at home, listened to some music I like, and had a beer. It was wonderful. And hopefully a taste of my future life without such a selfish, miserable person hurting me. You can do this. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Push past your fear. Make your life what you want it to be, not what someone who doesn't care about you wants it to be, a doormat meal ticket for them. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, I assure you, you are no chump. You, good sir, joined the legend camp. You are one of these inspirational guys here, and I hope you keep us updated in your journey. Op answer, thank you for the kind words. I'll wait a bit to consider myself in the legend camp, I still have a long road ahead. Right now I maybe consider myself an enlightened, healing chump. And a chump only in the fact that my ability to assume the best of people, especially the woman I chose to marry, and my blind trust for her got me in this mess to begin with. That and my inability to set and enforce boundaries. If I had, I probably wouldn't have married her, as the red flags of selfishness, immaturity, and lack of empathy were all there. Wouldn't have the kids I have though, so there's always a silver lining. Redditor 2, thank you for sharing. I'm sorry you're part of this crappy club. It's true though that this post will help someone else just joining the club. I'm not a newbie, but it still helps me. The recommendations are spot on and you have articulated the experience so well. Wishing you lots of health and happiness for your future. Redditor 3, you're not a chump, mate. You'd be a chump if you stayed and tolerated the disrespect. You're a good man. I wish you the best. Op answer, thanks for the kind words. I guess I consider myself a chump only in the fact that I always assumed the best of my wife and trusted. Plenty of red flags in her behavior that weren't cheating but pointed to an entitled, selfish, abusive brat. A child in an adult body, really. And I always allowed it. But no more. Redditor 4, she will keep her head up her ass until the legal proceedings. My BF's first wife was very much like this, till she was served. He included such details in the D as the OM's name and address. Named him as correspondent. WW called him in a panic, how could he divorce her, and OM meant nothing. Too bad that my BF had already been in contact with OMW, and was waiting silently for her WH to be served. On service, she removed him from their home. Told him that both her and my BF would be telling everyone. WH loses it, and an hour later is in holding with a DV charge. WW is told her boyfriend is in jail, for assaulting his wife for wanting to divorce him. When he is sprung, she calls, and is told that she was a really nice girl to FCK, but he loves his wife, and he will not lose her over some cheap piece of ass. WW hangs up, calls her STBX and takes a bottle of pills. BF is called to the psych ward, tells the doctors there what happened. Tells them that he is not interested in her recovery, and will not see her. Her folks are terribly embarrassed by her behavior, but, on emergence, she begins her long residence at her parents'. The divorce was finalized, and BF meets and marries his current wife. XWW is a bitter woman who gambled and lost. She was forbidden to date when her parents lived in the house with her. Her parents grew older, and she fell into the role of caretaker. They're gone now, and she is an old unmarried woman with few friends, and little left to her. Redditor 5, wait, she cheated and she's still entitled to your money. Have you talked to a divorce attorney who told you that? If that's really how it works, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry anyway, because this is not cool. Too many good people are taken advantage of by people who just use them. You aren't a chump, and you're a hero for moving past this. The self-respect gained by leaving these things is incredible. Nobody can really duck with a person betrayed who gains the strength to make their own life. Keep going, man, it only gets better when the dust settles and you're driving forward. Op answer, thanks for the kind words. And yes, no fault state, so she's entitled to my money. May tilt the tables slightly in my favor as I have proof of the infidelity, but only slightly, per my attorney. Redditor 6, another marriage shot to hell, thanks to Mark Zuckerberg. He's the grim reaper of relationships. Me and my ex-wife originally agreed no Facebook. That's until she decided to get a Facebook account without telling me. I'm sure she was heavily influenced by her family to be like everyone else. Either way, the first opportunity that came her way, ex-high school boyfriend, she took the bait. She claimed that she wasn't looking to screw around. WTFE. I had heard her and her family talk over the years about him being a serial cheater. When your wife welcomes somebody like that into your marriage, they are definitely looking for trouble. Answer, yup. It certainly enables those who want to cheat to do so. I don't blame him solely. It's 50-50. She chose to do what she did. Why? I still don't know and am working towards not caring. Long way to go on that one, but I'll get there. It doesn't really matter. What matters is she's not who I thought she was. She's a SID, toxic, selfish individual who needs a lot of help and is refusing to do anything to help herself or save her marriage. I hate that it happened because I never wanted it, but I'll deal with it and clean it up. I'm 100% resolute that this will not bring down my life. It's a temporary crap situation that I emerge from stronger, smarter, and better from. Even. Maybe way down the road when I'm ready with a hotter and less crazy female companion. Redditor 7, sorry that you are going through this. This is something no one is prepared for, and the end result completely depends on how one handles this situation. You're not a chump, but a champ on how you handled it. You tried to get her back, but she's still in a fair fog. You realized that soon and start taking steps to move on. Your STBXW is still playing to delay the divorce until she comes up with something else. Keep moving ahead and soon this mess will be far behind you and you'll meet someone that will truly love and cherish you. Take care of yourself and your kids. Good luck. Redditor 8, sorry you are going through this ordeal. I have no additional advice as you are doing everything right. Just hope that they can get creative and earn her the papers, as the traditional route doesn't seem to be working. Also, be prepared for her begging when the reality of working and a lifestyle adjustment hits her. I assume that you have limited her access to credit and cash. It is going to get worse before it gets better, but you got this. Sending strength. Answer, thanks for the kind words. As it's all my money, I was advised to not cut anything off. I'm going to work with my attorney on a plan to get her out of my house and cut off her access to funds, but I need to make sure I'm not hanging myself legally in the process.